In this video, we are going to teach you how to make over $100,000 in a single year. And we know this because we did it ourselves. What are we even talking about? In your 20s, you're probably paying a landlord. You're probably renting a place somewhere, or you're paying somebody else to live in their house, but you could switch that up. All you have to do is buy a house instead, and then you become the landlord, and then other people pay you to live there. And you do this through what we call room rentals. You can live in a house that's your own, and all the other spare bedrooms that you have in that house, you rent them out to people who will then pay your mortgage, pay down your principal balance on that loan. Then you gain equity, you gain income, and you might even make cash flow every single month like we do. So it's a pretty cool strategy, and we're going to teach you a little bit about how to get into this right now. First thing is, what exactly do you look for in a house when you're wanting to get a room rental?
Number one, no HOAs. Don't get a house in an HOA. You want a neighborhood that is decently nice, but not like perfect, where people will complain if maybe you have a few extra cars. Number two, you want to make sure that there's a lot of parking available because of cars. So probably have at least one space per person. Preferably not all in the front and not in front of your neighbors so they complain. And also, you want large employers nearby. That's the big thing. Large employers or colleges or hospitals. So those are probably the big three things.
If you're thinking, how the heck am I even going to pay for this? I don't have the money to buy a house. Most people do not know this, but there are a lot of programs for people who are first-time home buyers. They will give you down payment assistance if you are not making enough money to buy a house just yet. You can also, if you're a veteran, you can buy a house with a 0% down VA loan. Or if you want to buy in a more rural area, you can use a USDA loan, which is also 0% down. So those are two ways to get into a home with no down payment whatsoever. Obviously, you might have some closing costs, but you can do what we did when we bought this house that we're standing in right now, is we asked the seller to pay our closing costs. So all we had to bring was our down payment. And that was, for us, 3.5%, which again, isn't much. And that's because we use something called an FHA 203K loan. And this is another cool strategy that you can use when buying one of these homes. You can use a renovation loan. So the FHA 203K is one option. And then you also have the Fannie Mae Home Style loan, which is another option. Both of these loans allow you to buy a house, and the loan will actually pay for you to renovate them as well. Up to a certain value of the home, they will give you that money to buy it, and they'll give you the money to renovate it. So that is pretty insane. If you're interested in doing renovations and making a home what you want it to be, that's a really good way to go about that. And lastly, if you want to buy a home and the down payment is going to be a little bit too much for you, maybe consider getting a gift from family, or you can even buy a house with friends, which is what we did with this house. The down payment was 3.5%, but splitting that 4 ways, that was almost nothing for each of us. It was pretty insane.
This is probably the most critical part that could go south. And that is, most people will put an ad up for finding someone to live with, and they'll say, hey, how much do you make? And, oh, you can pay? All right, great. You have a pulse? Great. I want to live here. But that's a mistake. We do extremely extensive vetting. So first thing right off the bat is whenever somebody messages someone like on Facebook that says, hey, is this still available? Two things. One, what is your monthly income? And what is your approximate credit score? Those two things immediately will tell you, hey, is this somebody that I should continue talking to, or is this somebody that not? Because if somebody is unemployed, you probably don't want to continue. If somebody has a 400 credit score, you probably don't want to continue. Of course, there's exceptions to every rule, but preferably you want a certain multiple. Apartments usually go for 2.5 times the rent for monthly income. And then credit score, around 650, 700, 750 is good. But again, there's many exceptions. For example, people get divorces or medical issues, so there's those exceptions. But after that, then you start asking many other things. We vet very heavily for personality and lifestyle. For example, what time do you wake up to go to work? How many hours a week do you work? How long is your commute? That's a good one because you want to make sure that people have a short commute, otherwise they may not be happy. And if they do have a short commute, then they'll be much happier, much better to live with. What is your schedule for cooking? Do you meal plan? What is your schedule for laundry? All these kinds of things, just to make sure that they're going to be amenable to living together with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And this man is the king of vetting. We actually created a free guide on how to vet housemates that you're going to live with. So if you're interested in getting that guide and what questions that you might want to ask, go in the description below and we're going to add that there for you, and you can get that completely for free from our website. How do we even know that this is teachable? We know that it's teachable for two reasons. Number one is Paul and I did not know any of this when we got started a little over a year ago. Paul bought his house in May of 2024, and it's mid-2025 now. So we've learned a lot just in one single year. And all the stuff that we've learned, we're going to compile that and send it right on over to you guys so that you can accelerate your learning and not have to make the mistakes that we did. Second, our very first housemate, he bought his own house. He saw what we were doing and he said, I really like what you guys are doing and I'd like to do that myself. So we helped him through that process. He bought his own place. Paul helped him get some tenants, and now he is doing room rentals too. His people are paying down his mortgage and he's building equity in that property through this strategy.
Your market may be different, but let's just say on average in Charleston, a room goes for around $1,000 a month. We rent 8 rooms, so that's about $8,000 a month. We also recently became coaches, so we also coach this as well. And that is also about $1,000 a month. So all in about $9,000, a little bit less than that, times 12. And that's how we're getting the $102,000 a year.
Yeah. So obviously you're going to have some expenses, and we can break that down in a future video, but this strategy is incredible. Can you imagine not only your W-2 income that you're making right now, but what if you could have rooms that you're renting out and make thousands and thousands of dollars on top of what you're already making in your job? It's a complete game changer. So if you're interested in this and you want to see a little bit more information, go in the description below. Check out our vetting guide that we created just for you. It's completely free.
And if you want to have a call with us, comment in the description, call me, and we'll set up a call with you.
Hey. Hey, I'm Paul. I'm Paul.